killed anyone. And we look at our mess ups that we do have, and we count ourselves and discredit ourselves from being able to do something for God because, oh, you don't know what I did. All this. Moses was a gangster. Y'all remember that? Mm-hmm. Moses was gangster as they could get. This dude killed somebody for fighting, dug a hole in the sand and buried him and acted like nothing happened. That's pretty Al Capone. By verse 14, this is what happened. He walks up on somebody else and he approaches them, and guess what they did? They brought up his crap. Have you ever messed up before? Mm-hmm. You know, and I've always used this example, but I have never seen a crackhead that didn't know they was a crackhead. And the same goes with anything. I have never met a liar that didn't know they were a liar. I've never met a gossiper that didn't know they was a gossiper. They may not want you to know it, and they may deny it if you approach them about it, but usually everybody knows what their issue is. I know what my issues are. Do you know what your issues are? What stinks is when I have an issue and I walk up to somebody and then they start pointing at my issue. I don't like nobody to point at my issue. This guy pointed out his crap. He said, "What you gonna do? Kill me like you did the other guy?" And he's like, "Whoa." Moses panicked. He pointed out my crap. His opinion, someone else's opinion, caused Moses to run away. By verse 15, he ran away. By verse 17, this is what he did. He did a couple of good deeds for some people at a well. They were about to get jumped on by some men. They come in, some shepherds. This guy's daughter is out there trying to water the flock. Moses steps in and he does the work for him. He did a couple of good deeds. A lot of us have lived a life of being bad. Now we're doing better than we used to do. And we found ourselves content. Moses was content to live there. Not realizing that God had called him and created him to do something bigger than just live on the backside of the wilderness somewhere in a farmhouse taking care of a bunch of goats and sheep. He was created to do something bigger, but he found himself content because here's what he was. He was doing something better than what he was doing because he was murdering people. Oh, I was doing this every day, and now I'm not doing that, so I got to be better than I used to be. That's not always true. It's not always true that just because I'm not doing the bad things that I used to do, that now everything must be better. What happens and what needs to happen is not only am I not doing those things anymore, now I'm actually doing what God created me to do. And that's what we all need to be trying to discover. What was I created for? Let's go to chapter 3. I got a little more reading. This is verses 1 through 12, chapter 3. He found himself busy. He was tending the flock. It says, "Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the back of the desert, and he came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush. So he looked, and behold, the bush was burning with fire, but the bush was not consumed. Then Moses said this," and I want you to pay attention right here. Moses said this, "I will now turn aside. I will now turn aside and see this great sight, while the bush does not burn." So when the Lord saw this, that Moses turned aside to look, God called him from the midst of the bush and said, "Moses, Moses." And he said, "Here I am." Then he said, "Do not draw near to this place. Take off your sandals. Take the sandals off of your feet, for the place where you're standing is holy ground. Moreover," he said to them, "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob." And Moses hid his face. You ever did something or think that you're so bad that part of the reason about coming to church is you find yourself unworthy? I wonder if when he realized that he was standing in the presence of God, he said he hid his face. Was it embarrassment? Was he couldn't see himself being able to be in the same presence with God. We were created to walk daily with God. Sin comes in. The Bible says that sin separates us from God. So one of the things, all the junk that we do, its main goal is to separate us from God. And God is our source of life. So what it's really doing is it's killing us. You can be living and walking and talking, but not having the potential in your life, you're really a deadhead. You're just walking around with no purpose. Moses couldn't see himself being able to do this, so he hid his face. He was afraid to look upon God, and the Lord said, I have surely seen the oppression of my people who are in Egypt. God just starts talking like he don't even realize he's on his face. And I've heard their cry because of their taskmasters, and I know their sorrow. For I want you to catch how he says this. This is God talking. For I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up to the land that is good and large land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the place of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivitites, and all the Jebusites, and the Ittites, and Rittites, and all these tites. It's a whole bunch of, everybody back then was named, like we would be Valleyites. Everybody was ites. So he said, I come down here. He said, now therefore behold, the cry of the children of Israel has come to me. And I have also seen the oppression for which the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now, therefore, and I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. But Moses said, God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? And that I should bring the children of Israel out of Egypt? So he said, I will certainly be with you. And this shall be a sign to you that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. Verse 1 says this, he was content and back to work, busying himself with good things. Trying to have a good life, but not knowing that he was created for more. But it's not about doing good, it's about doing what you were created to do. And y'all have heard me say this over and over and over. Good can actually kill the great in your life. If you settle for something just because it's better, it may actually be killing what God really has to you. I don't do this anymore. I don't do that anymore. At least I don't do this. At least I don't do that. That could actually, the fact that you're content with saying, at least I don't, may actually keep you from saying what I actually do. I don't want to, I love a testimonial service. I grew up in a church where people used to raise their hand. We've done it here once. I love that kind of stuff where people say, I just want to testify, the Lord brought me out of a long way. Oh, I once was lost, but now I'm found. Oh, I used to be a drug addict, but now I'm not. Oh, I used to do this, but now I don't. That's awesome. But I love a testimony that says, I once was lost, but now I'm found, and now that I'm found, I want to see other people get found. I once was on drugs, but now I'm not, but now I'm high every day because I got something new. I once was this, but now I'm not anymore, but now this is what I am. I want to hear some stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that excites me. Not what you don't do no more, but what you actually do.
Yeah.
Anybody can stop something, but can somebody do what they were created to do?